Okay, we'll start the session. Everybody can able to hear me? Yes, can you able to hear me, all of you? Okay, if you can able to hear me, please write it like it's yes. Okay, fine. So please try to give the reply through the chat box. Keep your mics in mute position. Okay, we'll start the session. Before that, I'll just recap whatever we discussed in yesterday's session. So briefly, I'll just recap what we discussed yesterday, then I'll proceed with today's session. So what was the thing we discussed yesterday? I think you might be remembering, most of the people are also present yesterday. So yes, yesterday we have discussed about the structure of the Linux operating system. So from first day onwards, like today is the fourth day. So first day we discuss what Linux is an operating system. Which type of operating system Linux? The thing which separate the Linux from other operating system is what? Linux is an open source operating system. So we discussed that open source means the source code of the Linux operating system is freely available, which anybody can modify. So because of that, we have so many flavors in Linux, and we are discussing Red Hat because most commonly used flavor in the Linux are most of the servers in Linux are operating on Red Hat. And we also discussed that can, as a human being, is it possible to learn all the flavors? No, it's not possible. But if you are good on any one of the flavor or platform of the Linux, you can easily work on the other flavors. Like I told you, if you are good with the Red Hat, suppose you can easily work on Ubuntu, SUSE Linux, Debian, anything, because the architecture and the structure remains same. Sometimes the commands might be administrative commands might be different, that you can just Google it and get it. So that's how the people are working. All the peoples are working on Linux. So why we should use the Linux? Because it is very secure. That is the reason now most of the servers in the company or in the world, most of the company servers, they are running on Linux. So we discuss on the second day, Linux is more secure because of its structure. So we discussed that the Linux operating system consists of what? The Linux operating system, logically it is divided into two layers. One is the shell and the other one is kernel. Every operating system consists of what? Kernel. But in Linux, we have another thing. What is that another thing? What is the another thing? Shell, which is not there in other operating systems. So shell is the security layer. So whenever we execute any command, the shell, which is the interface between the user and the kernel, will check whether that program is known or unknown. If it is unknown, it will not execute that. So that's why if a command is proper and it is written in the vendor, then what it will do? It will run that. So the shell will not allow the unknown commands and unknown programs to run. So that's why it is very secure, one reason. And the second reason for that is the structure of the Linux OS. So yesterday we have discussed the structure of the Linux OS. So if you want to operate or learn on the Linux operating system, we should know about the structure of the Linux operating system. So yesterday we have discussed the structure of the Linux operating system. So we discussed that like in Windows, the OS will get installed on C drive, but in Linux there is no drive letter. So where the OS will get installed in Linux, when we install the Linux OS, where it will get installed? Yes, it will get installed on the where? On the slash. Yesterday we discussed this. Can you remember? So where the Linux operating system will get installed? On the slash. What is the name given to the slash? Slash is called root directory. So the slash directory contain many subdirectories. Slash directory contain many subdirectories like slash root. So we discussed yesterday, slash root is the home directory of root user, which contain the root user created data. Slash home is the home directory for all the rest of the users. So whenever we create any user as an administrator, where the users will be created in the Linux, in slash home. So slash home contain what? Slash home is called the home directory of all the users. So whenever we create as an administrator any users, so users will be existing by default in /home. So /home is the home directory of all the users. So when any user other than the root writes or creates any files and folder, where it will be created? In the /home. Then we discuss /boot. /boot, it's simply called as the boot directory. It contains the most important part of the Linux operating system is Linux kernel. So where the Linux kernel will be present? The Linux kernel will be present in the /boot along with bootable file and bootloader, which is called grub. So using this, it will do the booting process. Booting means loading of the OS. So I'm just revising it. Then we discussed all these things yesterday. So when we install any application, the application will be stored in Windows in program file, in Linux in USR. But that USR, once the application inbuilt is installed, it will be stored in USR, Unix system resource, and it also contains system files. But when the application is installed, it will create one file. That file is called configuration file, which will be stored in etc. etc is called etc. And all the users command which the normal user can execute or can run will be present in the /bin, which is called binary. But whatever commands present in the sbin, which is called system binary, which only administrator can use, cannot be used by other user, whereas the root user can use bin as well as sbin command. And library contain library files like in Windows, same. OPT is used to install the third-party application like Veritas or any antivirus, WebSphere application, anything we can install in OPT. Third-party, which is the application which are not there with our OS. So those we can do it through the OPT directory. Then temporary files will be there here in temporary location /temp. Then all the logs files will be generated in Linux in /var. And our hardware devices information we can access. Logical things link from the /dev directory, and the /system will contain the physical devices name location. So this is the overall structure of the Linux operating system. Now you know where exactly what data will be stored. So suppose if somebody asks where the Linux OS will be stored, means what you will say? Yes, where the Linux OS will be stored? On /. Where the admin created files and directory will be stored? Yes, administrator created files and directory stores. Where? Can you write, anybody? I'm waiting for your reply. Very nice. Akshay, yes, very nice. Pooja Rani, you also written nicely. Yes, that's how you should respond. So it will appear very good. Okay, fine. So who is root? You remember who is root? Yes, the administrator account name in Linux is a root. So root created data will be stored in /root, and rest of the users created data will be in /home. These are the main things you have to remember. Now, today we will proceed with the installation of the Linux operating system. So here we are working on the RHL. RHL latest one is 8, but it is newly introduced. So most of the servers might be working or is working on the RHL 7. So the equivalent of RHL 7 is CentOS. CentOS stands for what? CentOS stands for what? Community Enterprise Operating System. So the difference between RHL and CentOS is nothing is there. So the RHL, when you purchase it, free also is there, but when you purchase it, they will provide you they are charging it to provide the support. OS is free, but when you take the RHL, they'll charge you, and they'll provide you the technical assistance and support and updates like in Windows. But the CentOS is exact copy of the RHL. Only difference is it is completely free but no support. Whatever commands are there in RHL 7 or 5, for equivalent of that is appearing. Exact duplicate copy. So if you want to write the RHL exams, you can just practice it on the CentOS 7, RHL 7, exact 7 will be there from installation to the command. If you don't believe me, you just download the RHL 7. R8, exactly same thing will be there. Like when you purchase any new mobile, you will have exact entirely all the new features. No, all the previous features will be there. Along with that, only few features will be added. So same way, whatever we can do in RHEL 6 can be done in 7. Exactly same thing can be done on 8. But we will proceed this course with RHEL 7 using the CentOS 7. From installation to the command, everything will be configuration file, everything will be same. If you want to download, you can do it from the RHEL website also. Same thing will be there from installation to command every day. So I'll show you the installation on RHEL 7 using the CentOS 7. Exactly same thing will be there. Okay. CentOS full form. C means CentOS. CENTOS. What is the full form of CentOS? Community Enterprise Operating System. So they took the source code from the Red Hat. Exact copy of that they are releasing without any support. So exact same thing will be there. So we are going to discuss this RHEL 7 through the CentOS 7 because most of the servers they are working on this. So whatever you have from installation to command, everything will be same. So what is the full form of RHEL? RHEL and full form is R means here Red Hat. RE here RH means Red Hat. E means enterprise. So it is something like in Windows we have server operating system. In Linux we have enterprise, which will have more features. So RHEL full form Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So that same features will be there in CentOS. So C here, C stands for community. C stands for what? Community. ENT means enterprise. Community means group of people. ENT, enterprise. Same. OS means operating system. So here 7. Okay. So now we'll proceed with the installation. If you want to download the RHEL 7, you can do it. I'll provide you the link from where you can download the 7. You can do from that also. Exactly same thing will be there. Okay. So now before you proceed with this installation, you have to remember in Windows, what is the drawback? The OS can be, yes, it is exactly free, completely free, CentOS. RHEL OS is free, you are getting free, but they will ask you, like in the servers, if you want to use in the real time, the servers will be taken with the RHEL with the license key. So in Windows, you have to pay. Here also you pay, but the difference is when you pay or purchase this RHEL, they are not charging for the OS. OS is free. Once you pay them, they will provide you the technical assistance. So here you will not get in the Android full features what you are going to work. So for that you need to install the OS. So Android also is based on the Linux only. But what are the things you will be doing here? It's much more because you have to work like a total administrator. So you need to download this RHEL 7 or CentOS 7. So okay, so I'll provide you the link from where you can download this CentOS 7, which is completely free, and you can download and we can proceed with the our course. Okay, now let me show you the installation difference. So now in Windows, our OS will be installed where? When we install the Windows OS, the OS installation will be done on, OS installation is done on which drive? OS installation of Windows operating system, when you install, where it will be done? In C drive. So when we install the Linux OS, where it will get installed? Where it will get installed? Okay. Yes, it will get installed on slash. Very nice. So it means you understood this. So when we are doing the OS installation in Windows, in how many partition or in how many drive we can do the installation? If you are doing the Windows installation, in how many drive we can do the OS installation in Windows? In Windows, how many you can do it? single or multiple? Only single. So what is the advantage with that? It is easy to operate, but disadvantage is what? I already told you this in the third class. So if suppose you install the Windows OS, suppose I'm installing the Windows OS, so the complete everything will be there on a single drive in Windows. So if the C drive contain like folders, Windows folder, which contain subfolders like System32, which we have discussed yesterday also, log files, many things will be there, program file. So I'm going with the, we'll focus more on Linux. So I'm just writing it here short. So now here, users. So mostly the folder will get corrupted from the users. So one subfolder will be there. So suppose I'm the U1 user. So I got affected with some issue. It might be virus or anything. So once this folder will get affected, it will affect this. Ultimately, what will happen? Since both are present on same drive, complete OS will get affected. So this is the disadvantage in the Linux. Oh, sorry, this is the disadvantage in the Windows. Sorry, I should say that is a disadvantage in Windows. So this problem is not there in Linux. How we can avoid? So see here. So generally, what people will tell you, when you are using the Windows OS, you have to create a single partition or multiple. When you are using your Windows, most of our laptop or desktop will be with Windows OS. So suppose you want to keep some of your important data, where you will keep it? In C drive or on the other drive? In Windows I'm talking first. Your important some personal data is there, will you keep in C drive or some other drive in Windows? We should never keep our important data in C drive in Windows. What? Why? Because if the OS get corrupted, entire things will be lost. That's why whatever important data you have to keep in, you have to create one new partition. So in Windows, the partition is accessed with what? Drive letter. So one new drive letter will be created. So all your important data should be kept in other than the C drive. So what is the advantage with that? What is the advantage with that? If you are keeping your data in some other drive other than the C drive, if your OS gets corrupted, what will happen? If your OS will get affected, only C drive will get affected. Remaining drives will not get affected. So once you install your OS, yes, we can reinstall the OS. Yes, Akshay. Then whatever data is present in your in your D drive or E drive or other drives will be available or it will be lost. Suppose I kept my important data in C drive, my OS is got corrupted. So I reinstall the OS. So whatever data was there in C drive will be lost. But I kept my important data in D drive, example, and my OS got corrupted. Now, if my C drive get corrupted because of the OS, I reinstall the OS. Now my whatever data is available in D drive will be available or it will be lost. Yes, it will be available. So this is the advantage. So that's why you never keep your important data in C drive, because if the OS get corrupted, everything will be lost. So but when you keep your data in some other drive, the data will be safe. The data will be safe. When you reinstall the OS, whatever data is there in the D drive will be available to you. The data will be not lost. So exact same concept is used in Linux. So now in Linux, what are the important folders are there? So like here, important folders. Yesterday we discussed slash. Now I'm talking about Linux now. So slash where our Linux OS will get installed, slash root, slash boot. These are the important folders. Slash usr, slash home, slash var, slash temporary location. Okay. So these are the important folders. So what we can do in Linux is that while doing the installation, we can install the Linux OS on multiple partition. What we can do? We can install the Linux OS on multiple partition. Can we do that in Windows? No. So whichever folder is important. So always in Linux, what we will do, just a second, I'll make you understand. It's a very important point. So what we will do in Linux, we have multiple directories are there. There is no drive letter here. Everything here is accessed in Linux with a directory. In Windows through drive letter, remember. So in Linux, we have when we install the OS, where it will get installed on in Windows C drive, whereas in Linux slash. So when we are installing the Linux OS, we will create multiple partition. What we will do to make our OS very safe and secure. So we will install the Linux OS on multiple partition, which we can't do in Windows. So for every OS installation, we will create two partition. So first partition will be for slash, where our Linux OS will be there, and the Linux OS has to boot. So we'll create one separate partition. Slash boot will be there. So we'll create one separate partition for booting process, because this is very important. If this get corrupted, the OS will not be able to boot it. Yesterday I told you we will get a grub error. So to avoid that, we'll create one separate partition here to the slash boot. So now how many partitions is created? First we'll create this one, two partitions. This one partition, this is another partition. Now what are the other important folder for us? Like slash usr, slash var, slash home, slash temporary file. So like this, if you want to install so many, your requirement is you want to install third-party application slash opt, like this, separate folders or separate these subdirectories can be allocated separate partition while doing the installation in Linux. So where our OS will be there, Linux OS will be there on the slash. Suppose our slash get corrupted, so what will happen if you do the installation, everything on single partition, everything will be lost. But if you do the installation separate partition for this folder, so what will happen? Even if your OS is lost, your separate other partition will remain intact, like we have discussed here. If our OS in the C drive, if your C drive is got corrupted, your other drive will remain safe, because this is other partition. So exactly same thing, what will happen when we install the Linux OS? When we install the Linux OS on multiple partition, by creating separate partition to our important subfolder, what will happen if our main OS get corrupted also? The other partition which you have created will remain intact. They will not lose the data. So that's why always when we install the Linux OS, we need to install the Linux OS on multiple partition, so that even if your OS will get corrupted, or even if one of the OS folder get corrupted, it will not affect your complete machine. So based on which type of server you are configuring, you have to create the, based on which type of server you are creating, based on that you need to create the multiple partition. So the recommended installation for the Linux, when you are installing the Linux servers or Linux operating system, whenever you are installing the Linux operating system for server purpose, you need to configure minimum, how many partition you need to configure? Minimum partition need to be configured is 4. How many partitions we need to create? Minimum 4 partition. So what is the advantage of that? When any one of these get corrupted, it will not affect the complete OS, which will happen in Windows. Because of that, most of the servers are working on Linux operating system. This is another important advantage. First of all, in Linux, good security is there because of the shell layer. It will not execute the virus, because until known program, it will not execute. First thing. Second, in Linux, the Linux installation can be done on multiple partition while installing the OS, which makes our OS very secure. and safe, which cannot be done in Windows. So these are the two main important reasons why most of the servers in the world are been working on the Linux. So please tell me, are you understanding me? Are you getting me? Okay. Now, suppose your company want to configure which type of servers. Depending upon that, 4 partition you have to create. So I'll give you the overall idea how you should do. So now suppose your company is making, say, suppose user database server. So what is your requirement? Your company want to configure user management server. All users data should be safe. So user management server your company want to configure. So for that purpose, you have to create 4 partition. So in all the OS installation, 2 partition will be same, slash and slash boot. This is the two common. So now, if you want to configure user management server, means you have to configure or create one partition. One partition you have to create for slash, one partition. So one partition should be, first partition should be slash boot. Always first partition will be slash boot. Second partition will be slash. And your third partition should be where the user's data will be stored. You tell me where your user's data will be stored in Linux. Please tell me. All users data, where it will be stored. Just now a few minutes back we discussed. Can anybody please write the answer in the chat box? Where in Windows, in Linux I'm asking where all users data will be stored. Users data slash home. Yes, very nice, Prasad. Akshay, did you got it? Yes, there is no folder called USER. There is USR, not USER. Okay, slash home. So now when you want to configure user management server, means you need to create first 2 partition will be basic, but the third partition you have to create as third partition should be your slash home, and the fourth partition to improve the system performance will create the swap partition, which is called virtual memory. So what is swap? We'll be discussing. So fourth partition should be your swap, which is not the OS partition. It is related with virtual memory to improve the system performance. So when your RAM space become less, the system will not get crash or hang. So for that, we will create the swap partition. We have a session, we'll be discussing swap. So what are the 4 partition you have to create when you want to make your user management server? These 4 partitions. So now let us imagine your OS got corrupted. OS got corrupted. Slash got corrupted, but still you have separate partition. Your OS will be booted because your OS will be loaded because the boot directory is working, and all the users data will be stored where? In slash home, like D drive, separate partition. So whether the users data will be lost when the OS get corrupted, Linux OS, due to any reason, now your slash home will get corrupted. It will get corrupted, or users data will be lost, or it will be not lost if you install 4 partition. Tell me. Suppose now your OS got failed. Now your users data will be lost, or it will be not lost if you have created 4 partition. Please write the answer. Say yes or no. Now my OS got corrupted. Will I lose my all users data? No, it will be not lost. Yes, Akshay, you are right. Because we have created separate partition. So like we have seen example, if your OS is in C drive, but separate partition D drive. So when the OS Windows lost, are you losing the data in the D drive? No. So exactly same concept here. So that's why when we install the Linux OS, we will create multiple partition so that even if the OS get lost, here the important thing is what? Users data. So we created separate partition. So where the users data will be there? Slash home. So we'll create one partition for slash home. So even if the OS is lost, our users data will be not lost. So when we want to make our user database, so I told you what is the swap means. We will be discussing that today. You just remember, swap is a logical memory. It is used to improve the system performance. It is a virtual memory. So generally if you want good speed of the machine, generally your RAM should be good, no higher value. But when you are doing multiple tasks, whenever you switch on the machine, first the OS will get loaded into the RAM, and when you do multiple tasks, when the memory or free space in the RAM is not there, the system will get crash or slow. So to avoid that, we will use one swap partition. So what the swap will do, whenever RAM space get filled completely, it will take the sleeping or idle memory from the RAM, and it will create the free space in the RAM so that our system will not get slow. So that we will be discussing. A separate class is there, swap. At that time we'll discuss this. So that's why in Linux, when you install the OS, minimum how many partition you have to create? You can create more than that, but minimum 4 partition for OS installation. So your OS will be safe and secure. Are you understanding me? Are you understanding me? Okay. So whether this feature is there in the Windows, whether this feature is there in the Windows, this type of feature is there in Windows? No. So that's why most of the servers are been working on Linux. So first thing, security. Second thing, the architecture of Linux is very good, safe and secure. So that is the reason most of the servers are working on Linux. Now I'll give you one more example. I'll give you one more example. Suppose your company want to configure database server. Now your company want to configure database server. So for database server, what are the partitions you will create now? Slash and slash boot is the common. These two will be common everywhere. But here your third partition will be what now? All the files will be temporary files. Database will be where it will be stored? Slash temp. So you need to create third partition as temp, and the fourth will be swap for database server. These are the partition. So based on which type of server you are configuring, you have to create the partition. Now say suppose your company want to configure syslog server. You want to monitor the log files, syslog servers. If your company want to configure syslog server, then you need to configure slash boot will be common everywhere, but additional here where the logs file will be there, var. So you have to create separate partition for slash var. So now your syslog server, when the OS get lost, also your log files will be there in the var. So like this, for user database server, slash home should be created. For database of the file, database file server, temporary file should be created. This is database file server. This is user database server. This is syslog server. So depending upon which type of server your company is going for, if suppose it is a third party, more third party application need to be installed, you have to create the slash opt. Are you following me? Are you understanding? So this feature we don't have in Windows. So that's why Linux is more secure and stable. So now shall I proceed with the installation of the OS? Shall we do the installation of the OS today? Yes. So for installation of the OS, you need what? You need to install any OS, you need what? Hardware. So what are the basic hardware it required? Processor, RAM and hard disk size. So you need physical hardware. So now to install the Linux, do you need to purchase one separate machine? No. What you can do, you can use your hardware. You can use your hardware, physical hardware, by creating another machine. You don't have to purchase the one new machine. You can do it on your existing machine. How you can do this? Any idea, anyone? Yes, virtually. So that can be possible by using the VMware. So you have some third-party applications, like most commonly used is VMware. So we can use the VMware on our physical machine, which might be Windows 10, Windows 7, Windows 8, anything. On that, we can install the VMware. On that VMware, we can create one virtual machine. on that virtual machine, we can install the Linux without disturbing your existing network. You can create it. What is the error it is showing? Yes, what is the error it's showing? So can we discuss that? Can we discuss that after the session so that, okay. So now, so first thing what you have to do to install this OS. So what you have to do to install this OS, we need to first install some VMware. We need to install what? VMware. So I'll give you one link. I'll give you one link on your chat box. You copy that and put it on some notepad or WordPad from my Google Drive link, that is. So using that link, you can download the VMware. If you have the VMware from your site, it's no problem. But this is the link I have. So I'm putting it in the chat box with the license key. So you can just go and copy this link. So did you got the link? I think the key is there, and I'm giving you the link also. Okay, that link is not copied properly. I'll give you now. So now I'm giving you that link on your chat box. Earlier I given you the key, it was not got properly. Now this is the link. Please all of you copy this link. So this is the link I'm giving you to download the VMware 15th version, and I've given you the earlier keys. So you can use any one of this key. If you have already your VMware 15th or 16th version, it's fine. So after downloading, what you have to do? After downloading the VMware, you have to install it. How to install, you might be knowing, very easy. Go to the setup file, double click on that, next. It will get installed. So please copy this link which I have given to you. So after copying that, you download the VMware. After downloading, you go to the setup file, then click on next. Give the it will ask the keys. I have given you the 3 keys. Out of the 3 keys, you can use any one of the key. Then it will get installed. Once it get installed, you will get what? You will get what icon on your desktop. So it means VMware is installed. Now, which OS you want to install? Suppose you want to install RHEL 7. I have the link for CentOS 7. You can go to this website also to download any application. There is a very good website. That website name is Get Into PC. So this is the website. You can go there. From there also you can write in the search and you can download any OS. It's very secure. Get Into PC. But I have downloaded CentOS 7 and I have copied the link from where you can download. So I'm giving you these multiple links. So first I'm giving you one link on your chat box. This also you should copy. You have to download, otherwise how you'll do it? So now I'm giving you the link for the operating system. First you have to download the VMware. After downloading the VMware, install the VMware. After installing the VMware, which OS you want to install, that also you need to download in your physical machine. So I'm giving you the operating system link of CentOS 7. I'm having CentOS 7. I'm giving you that link, multiple links. You can go to any one of these link and you can download. So you see your chat box. I've given you one link. I written the heading. This is for operating system. So I'm giving you the multiple links, whichever you find easier and simple, you do it. And one more link I'm giving you. multiple links. Whatever I'm having, I'm giving you. So the second link also I'm giving, another link also. From there also you can download the CentOS 7. And I have one more Google Drive link. From there also you can download. The OS size should be between 4 to 5 GB. What you are downloading, that size should be between 4 to 5 GB. Don't download 2, 3 GB, or don't download 8 or 9 GB also. 4 to 5 GB is enough. And I'm giving you one more link. I'm giving you one more Google Drive link. From there also you can download. So you go to any one of these three links to download the RHEL 7, that is CentOS 7, which is equivalent to the CentOS 7. So these are the three links I have given you. So first link I have given you for the VMware. Next three links I have given you for downloading the CentOS 7, which is equivalent to RHEL 7. Okay. Have you copied this? Because you please copy these links which I have given you. Copy in some notepad or the WordPad and save it. So once the session is completed, whenever you find the time, today what you do, you download the VMware and install it, and then you download the CentOS 7 or RHEL 7. If you want RHEL 7, you can go to the Google, write it, download the RHEL 7. From there, you will provide the link. From there also you can download. Okay, so it is your choice. But whatever I'm showing you on CentOS 7, exactly same thing will work on RHEL 7 also. From installation to command, exact same. Okay, so if you are done with this, can I proceed with the installation? I'll show you how to install it. How to install the Linux OS. Okay, so now how to do it? So suppose already I installed the VMware. So already I have installed the VMware. Once it is installed, it will show like this. And I already downloaded the CentOS 7 also. I don't have the RHEL 7. If anybody downloaded the RHEL 7, and if you can put it in your drive and give me the access, it will be fine. So if you have RHEL 7, you put it in your Google Drive and give me the link so that I can also share it with some other persons also. So now I'm going with the installation. So first, when your VMware is installed and you have downloaded the OS, now you can proceed with the installation. So first, while doing the installation, what you need to do, you need to create one virtual machine. What you need to do, you need to create one virtual machine. On that, you can install the OS. So how to create a virtual machine through the VMware? So once you install the VMware, after downloading, after downloading, you have to install. Go to the setup file, next, give the key. It will ask the key. I've given you the three keys. Out of the three, any one key you used, install it. Once it is installed, it will appear like this. Then double click on this VMware. Then create one new virtual machine on which you want to install the Linux operating system. So how to create the virtual machine? I'm doing it. See here. You will be getting the recording also. You can see the recording also. Click on create a new machine. So click on this. Select the first option, typical. So it will take a default RAM 1 GB. Then by default this option will be there. So if you use this option, your OS will be installed with the two partitions, that is / and /boot. But you have to take the third option so that you can install the OS as per your requirement. So whenever you want to install the OS, Linux OS or Windows OS as per your requirement, you have to select the third option in the VMware. What is the third option? I will install the operating system later. So which option you have to select? I will install the operating system later, so that you can install the OS according to your requirement by creating multiple partition. Okay, click on next. Now here you need to select which OS you want to install. Here you have If you want to install Windows, you have to go with the Windows off. No, you want to install Linux, you select Linux. No, you want to install VMEX, then other type of OS, this option. So our requirement is installing the Linux OS. So select the Linux. So in Linux, it is selected default Ubuntu, but we are want to install the RHL. So if you have downloaded the RHL, here RHL 7 you can select. If you have downloaded the latest RHL 8 also, 8 name is not given, so you can select the 7, it will work. So I downloaded CentOS, which is equivalent of RHL. So I'll select here CentOS, which is exact same 64-bit architecture. So select the CentOS 7 64-bit. Then click on next. Click on next. So up to this, are you following? Are you following up to this, everybody? Please tell me. Otherwise, I'll show you one more time. Up to this clear, or shall I start from beginning? Please tell me. Is it okay, or shall I repeat up to now? Please write it something clear. Oh, okay, thanks. So now I'm proceeding. So I'm proceeding with what next? So select the Linux. In the version, select which OS you have downloaded, CentOS or RHL. Based on that, you select it. You select it and say next. Then go to the next. Now here it is taking the name. So if you want to give some name, you can give or keep as it is. It is your choice. Even after installation also you can change that name. So I'm keeping as it is. Now here, where you want to install this OS. So it can be installed on any drive. So default it is taking C drive. If you want to install in some other drive, you go to the browse. I suppose I have enough space in E drive. So I'll go to the E drive. Then I can make myself one folder for easy understanding purpose. So I'm saying this is a suppose this I'm saying as a Linux, or you can say 9:30 batch or 10 o'clock batch. I'm writing like that. So one folder, as for your understanding purpose, you can give any name, your name also. One folder is created. So it will be installed in that folder. What I'm installing, if you want to change the name, you can change or keep any name. So suppose you have created in the E drive this. If you want to change this name, you can change it. So here, this I can do it. Folder is created. Then go with the next. So 20 GB it is taking. So it is more than enough for our practical purpose. 20 GB is more than enough. If you want to give least value, minimum 10 should be there, or 12 least, or 20 means it is enough. So if you want to give minimum 20, 20 can be there, 12 are. Now select here store virtual disk as a single file. Then next. Now finish. So up to this understood how to create the virtual machine. Just I'm revising it one more time. So first typical, then next. Select here I will install the operating system. Next. Select here Linux, in which one you downloaded OS, that you select. Then where you want to install, browse and give it. Next. 20 GB is enough. Finish. Virtual machine is ready. But here you are installing this OS through what? Through the ISO image. So that you can select like this. Right click here, settings. You are doing the installation through what? CD DVD. Under CVD, you are using any CVD DVD nowadays? No, ISO image. So go to the setting, select the fourth option, CD DVD, use ISO image. Then browse. Where you downloaded the OS, you go there. So I kept this where? In D drive. CentOS 7. I can select. Or if you don't want to use this option, you can do like this also. Here, can you see the edit option? Click on edit. Directly this will come. Select the fourth option, CD DVD. We are not installing through CD DVD. We are installing with what? ISO image. So under that, use the ISO image. Browse where you have downloaded. Where you have downloaded your CentOS 7 or RHEL 7, whatever. You select and say open. Now path is given. Understood? Now you have to select, give the path of the operating system which you have to download. Now we can proceed with the installation. Is it clear up to now? Up to now it is clear? Okay, so now virtual machine is ready. Now, till now whatever we have done, the creation of the virtual machine for installation of the RHEL 7 or CentOS 7. Now to do the installation of the RHEL 7 or CentOS 7, what you need to do? You need to power on. So click on power on. Now we are proceeding with the installation of the RHEL or CentOS 7. Now it is asking, you want to install the OS? So first it is highlighting which option, test the media. So if it is inserted the DVD and you are doing the installation through that, use the second option. No, we are doing from ISO image. So first option you select, install the CentOS 7. Then press enter. Select the first option using up arrow key, install the OS. Now it is asking you to press enter. Press one more time, enter. Now the OS is getting loaded. So whether you do through the ISO image or through the DVD, the steps will be same. And RHEL 8 also exactly same. If you want to download the RHEL 8, you can do same, exactly same way it will work. Installation, command, everything is same. Now here, like in Windows, whenever you start the installation of any operating system, it will ask what is the language you want to use while doing the installation. So default selected language is English. If you want to change other language, the options is there. So I'm going with the English. Next, continue. Okay, some problem happened. So I need to create one more virtual machine. So some problem occurs. So now what I need to do, power off this machine. So you need to remove this machine. How to remove it? Our unnecessary hard disk space will be wasted. So right click, go to the manage, delete from disk. So this is the way we have to delete the machine. So it will be deleted permanently. So I'll go it fast little bit. I'll create one more time virtual machine. You know this option. Hello. So I'm going with this. So I'm installing where? In the E drive with a folder name called Linux 10 AM batch.
Hello.
Folder is created. In that, this OS will get installed. 20 GB is enough. Finish. Now I'll go to this here edit. I'll go to the CD DVD. Go to the ISO image. Browse where I kept my ISO image in the D drive CentOS. Okay, path is given. Okay, now I'm installing the once again installation. Proceeding. Select the first option using that power key. Enter. Now it will ask us to press enter one more time. Do it one more time. Now the OS will get loaded. So first option will be same language. So I'm selecting that same default language and continuing. Now you will get a here dashboard screen. Okay, some problem. So my OS might be got corrupted. 1 second. Let me just have one more location from where I can download. So just give me 1 minute. Another location here. On the desktop also I have some ISO image. I'll check that. This CentOS. So let me check that it is working or not. If it is not working, I'll download the other one and I'll show you tomorrow. If it is again shows the same problem, means my OS might be got corrupted. I need to download another one, because we'll be taking multiple batches nodes and we'll be giving it. So sometime it will get corrupted. So if it is okay, we'll do the installation. Otherwise, we'll continue tomorrow. So first, as it is same. Now this is your dashboard. You will get it here. So is there any begin installation is highlighting? Begin installation is highlighting? No. So now what you have to do? You have to configure these things as per your requirement. You have to configure this as per your requirement. So how to do it? So first we go with date and time. You can set the date and time according to your requirement. So if you do from here, it will take a lot of time. So just use the map. So don't go, suppose if you want India time, don't go inside the India. It is selecting Kathmandu, not Nepal time. So you just be right side of whichever country time you want. Select it. Then you want AM 12 hours or 24 hours. It is your wish. Then set the date and time. Once it has been done according to your requirement, click on done. So date and time has been set. Now what is the language you want to use after the installation? If you want English, it is there. No, other than English means so many languages are there. Hindi, Marathi, Kannada, so many options are there. So I'm going with English. Done. So we have selected what date and time, keyboard, language. Now whatever you selected here, it will update. Don't do here anything. Now the next thing is very important. So here software selection. So here don't do anything here. It is related with here. So now by default here, which option is there? Software selection. So if you use this option, after the installation, you can work in text mode only. No, you want to work in text and graphical. So select this option, either GNOME desktop or server with GUI, so that you can work in text mode as well as graphical mode. So the desktop name in Linux is GNOME. You have another type of desktop, KDE, but more commonly used is GNOME desktop. So now you cannot do everything graphically, but you will get the graphical desktop console, graphical console. In Linux, everything we will do with the command. Even though graphical option is there, but we'll do it for faster work and better performance through command. And in real time also, in companies also, we have to do with command. That's why training will be given to the command. Now here it is updated. Now here the begin installation is highlighting no. So till now it's simple, date and time, keyboard. Then in the software selection, you select a GNOME desktop or server with GUI. We cannot select multiple options here, only one option at one time. See here. So you select GNOME, it will update. Now begin installation is not highlighting because here the most important thing is here, installation destination. Now click on installation destination to install the OS on multiple partition. So click on installation destination. So now here automatically if you select this option means your OS will be installed on 2 partitions //boot, but we need to create 4 partition. It will be better. So for that you select the second option. I will configure partitioning. I will configure partitioning. Then click on done. So now you can create your own partition. So generally the partitions will be created using LVM, but most of the people will not be knowing LVM initially. So we have a session where we will be discussing what is LVM. So today under the partitioning scheme, we will select standard partition, normal or fixed size partition. Now we need to create minimum how many partition? 4. So to create the partition, click on plus. Now in Windows, everything is accessed through drive letter. Here everything is accessed through the mount point using the directory. So see here, these are the main directories. If you want to give some other directory name also like temp/temp, you can give. But these are the main things they have given. So minimum how many you can create? 4. First slash where our OS will be there. So you can give 8 GB. For lab purpose it is enough. Don't give less than 5 GB. Then slash is created. Now the subdirectory /boot to load the OS. 100 MB is enough. 200 I am giving. So default if I don't give any number, it takes in MB. See here. 2 partition over. Now I want to make this as a user database server. So I need to use /home. If it is a suppose you want to use this server for syslog per server, where you have to select. No, for installing the OS, you are using this as an application server, then USR. Then where for syslog server. So depending upon your user, I want to make it as a user database server /home. 2 GB I am giving. In real time, it will be much higher size. For lab purpose, it is enough. And 4th partition I'm creating for logical memory to improve my system performance, swap partition. It should be the double size of the RAM. RAM size is 1 GB, so I'm giving 2 GB. If you want to increase it further, you can increase it. How to do? We have a session swap partition. So how many partitions we have created? 4 partition is enough for us. If you want to do more, you can do it. But for me, it's enough. For our lab purpose, it's enough. Then done. Once you are done your requirement, click on done. It will ask, do you want to cancel the installation or proceed? You want to proceed means accept the changes. Now begin installation is highlighting, but if you want to assign the IP address and host name to your machine, you can click here. Now here it is taking your Ethernet name, LAN card is connected. Now here you want to assign some host name to your machine. You can give here some name to your machine. Like I want to make this machine name as what? Server 1 or something like this. Server 1 something. You can give any name. Later also you can change. And to assign the IP address, click on configure. Now here, which type of IP you want to assign? IP version 4. So click on IP version 4. Now here, we want on servers, we need to give the static IP. So still we have not configured DHCP, and anyhow we want to make this machine server means static IP should be given. So click on the option, select IP address manual. Manual means static IP. Now click on add. Now you can give the IP address. Suppose I want to make this machine is with this IP. Given. Now click on add. So IP address is added. Subnet mask is taken. Okay. So subnet mask, it has not taken. So let me delete it and write it again. Give the IP address. What is the IP I'm giving? 192.168.1.9/24. So I'll use the subnetting here. So it is not taking. So then netmask, I given this IP. DNS IP is there? No. So it will take the default subnet mask. DNS server be configured? No. Then any router is there? No. So click on configure. So IP is given. Now it is off. You make it on. So it has not taken the IP. So subnet mask. Okay. I'll just try to give it one more time. IP version 4. IP version 4. I assign the IP address manually. Then add IP address 192.168.1.9. I have given the IP. Subnet mask. What will be the subnet mask for this? 255.255. It is class C. See, this is the subnet mask. So IP address with subnet mask is given. Now click on configure. So it is been done now. So make it on. Now save. So IP address is been saved. Now click on done. Now here it is showing not connected. So make it on. Save. Done. Okay. Now begin the installation. Now when we install any OS, default one user will be created. So the administrator account name is root. So you can give any passwords. For simplicity, I'm giving Red Hat. So whatever password you give some simple. Don't forget that. Otherwise, you have to reset the password, which is a lengthy process. So your name also you can give. It will ask you to give 8 character, but if you give any character, it will accept. Press done twice. Root password is been set. Now, compulsory you have to create one user with any name, any letter password. Any letter password. Even one letter we can give. Now click on done twice. Over. So it will take some time. So if you don't have the time, we can put it in the suspended mode when the installation is going on. When we have the time, we can resume it. So I'll keep it in suspended mode. Tomorrow we can resume it. Don't power off it unless until it is completely installed. If you power off, OS installation will be cancelled. So I'm keeping in suspended mode. More where we stop, from there we can resume it tomorrow. So with this, we have done the installation today. So tomorrow we will continue with what? Once the installation is completed, how we can use the basic commands. So tomorrow we'll proceed with what? Basic commands. So I hope you followed this session today. So that's it for today. Thank you everybody. So those who have doubts related with today's session or whatever doubt you have, you can ask me now. You can either write it or unmute your mic and tell me. Yes.
Yeah, hi, Sir Prasad here.
Yes.
Yeah. So my doubt is, we do install operating system on multiple drives, like in Linux, right?
Yes.
So if OS gets corrupted, then how can we recover the user data? Because
See
if
here.
OS gets
See here. First of all, you have to remember there is no drive. Here it is a directory. So I said, suppose you have this. OS is installed here. But when the OS get lost, are you getting the next partition? D drive lost?
Time card, I see there is a shift drop down. 4 hours.
yeah, but how do we enter that these directories? Because the OS itself is gets corrupted, right?
It is not there. That is what you doubt. So what you are doing when your Windows get lost, can you open the D drive? No, so what you will do, you will reinstall the OS. OS will get reinstalled. After that, D drive will be available. Same way, when you install the OS got corrupted. You have to reinstall it. But that partition will be available to you. All your previous data will be available. So there will be no loss of data. Are you following?
The amount
Okay, got it, got it.
After the OS is available, then only that will be available. Yes, there will be no data loss because we have another partition.
Hello,
That feature is there in Windows.
am I
Okay.
audible?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes. Proceed. Can you hear you?
Yeah, actually, I have installed RHEL 8 version, but it's showing me some error, subscription error. I don't know why.
So subscription error means you might be selected while installing the option. There is one option when you read it. You need some. It will ask keys. Are you update something? So that you will receive after you make a payment. So if you have to read that option, I don't need somewhere that option will be there. So you select that and proceed. Otherwise, you need to make a payment.
Okay. If I'll
So
not
while doing that,
find, I'll connect to. Can I connect to you?
how?
Uh, via any software, sir. So can I'll just show you what is the error.
So now you can just send me on my mail ID at least.
Sir, what should I share, sir?
Like otherwise, you tell me what is the error it's showing.
Wait a minute.
Hmm.
Sir, I'll give you the screenshots tomorrow morning if it is
Oh,
possible. So it will
ah,
be better to
ah.
understand.
Yes, and also I'll suggest you if it is showing
Okay.
that problem, maybe what I understand is that you might have not read that so it will ask you when you are proceeding with the Red Hat, you need the update something like that.
So I
So
can
you have to
delete that total
ah,
software, then again I have to
ah,
reinstall.
yes, reinstall and read the options carefully.
Okay, okay, fine.
That problem will be resolved. So you select what I don't need now, like that.
Okay, okay,
Later,
fine.
then you will not get this. Otherwise, it
Okay.
will ask the
Because
subscription fees.
because some command
Hmm.
it's working,
Hmm.
but the major commands is not working.
So that might be
That
you have
means
accepted the
like
subscription and you are
concatenation.
not. So that's
Yeah.
what it is. You might be accepted and you did not make the payment. No? So updates and those things have been blocked. So you proceed with what installation? I don't need the update. So you use the without payment version.
Okay, okay. Okay, let me check once. If I'll get any error, then
Ah,
I'll get back to you.
oh, okay, fine.
Okay, okay, thank you, sir.
What about this? What about this session? Have you understood everybody?
Yeah, so how do we get that recordings and all the documents related to
Okay,
this?
have you? I think you have not contacted our front office.
Yeah, I have already made the payment and I have
Acha.
already talked to them, but they didn't provide me anything.
Okay, so you just have our numbers on that. I think they will send you today itself, definitely. Are you contact on our website? One number is there, multiple number. You just contact them, they'll send you. From first day onwards, all recording you will be received.
Okay,
If
okay,
any issue
fine.
is there, please tell me tomorrow. I'll update to them. You made the
Okay.
payment.
Yeah, I have already done and informed also them.
Acha, today you made the payment.
No, no. Day before yesterday. Day before yesterday night.
For this particular batch only.
Yeah, for this particular batch.
So your name is Pooja.
Yeah, Pooja Panda.
Acha. I'll confirm with them. So you
Sure,
wait.
sure.
Otherwise, you call them now after the session. Update it. Otherwise, also update them. Okay. Yes. Anybody else? Any other questions or doubt?
Yes, sir. Also, instead of installing the OS, can we do it to Amazon instance? I have already created one.
So if you
Can
are
this
good
code?
with that Amazon, you can do it. Yes, you can do it. But for that, you should know how to get connected.
Yeah, I have already created one instance.
So you can work on that also. Very nice. Okay. Yes, any other doubt? Anybody?
No doubt, sir.
Okay. Anybody else? So can I close the session if you don't have doubt, or if anybody have any doubt, you please ask me. What is partition? We have 1 month course. In that we will be discussing. Partition means dividing the hard disk space into some sections, which is called volume. So dividing the hard disk memory or space into some logical volume is called as partition, so as to utilize our data safely and securely and utilize the hard disk space properly. We have a session, we'll discussing that, how to create partition on Linux. Okay. Okay. Anybody else? Any other doubt?
Oh, no, sir.
Okay. So can I close the session?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. See you tomorrow. I'm closing the session.
Thank you.